Hello again, vinyl community. This is Matt, and this is the second part of this new series I started where I'm showing two albums from the 80s. I have a lot of 80s albums, different genres. I mean, a lot of kind of pop stuff, but there's also some rock and some other stuff in there too. So in the first video, we took a look at Frankie Goes to Hollywood and also Wham. Um, and this is also a little bit of a response video to Brett at Vinyl Victim. He posted a video recently where it was a room tour. He was showing his audio setup and the room that he has it in, and you know the racks of CDs and Blu-rays and everything else that he's got. And one of the things he had was a couple of jukebox strips kind of on display up on like a table sort of thing. And one of them was Debbie Gibson, and I, uh, I made a comment on the video that oh, you know, it was kind of cool just to see somebody with such kind of an eclectic taste. You know, he had Debbie Gibson, and I think what was the other one? He had a Lisa Stansfield cassette as well, which I commented on. But and, you know, he basically said to me that, hey, you know, he likes all kinds of music, and good music is good music. He's not, you know, especially if it's somebody who writes their own songs. So without further ado, in response to that, the first album we're going to look at is Out of the Blue by Debbie Gibson. This was released in 1987, and she wrote a lot of the tracks on this album. She was given, especially how young she was, I think she was maybe in her late teens at this point, you know, for her to write so much material, and it's good, you know, it's really pretty good. Especially the song Foolish Beat. That's probably the best track on the album in my opinion. But there's a number of really good tracks on here, so let's take a look at it. Unfortunately, my copy does have a little bit of water damage here. You can see it more clearly on the back. I nearly didn't buy it, but it was real cheap. I found it in a thrift store, and you know, it's one of those things. I'll keep my eye out for an upgrade copy. The record itself is fine. It's just a little bit of water damage on the sleeve, but what are you gonna do? So there's the back. It's on the Atlantic label. I'll take it out of the sleeve here, right there. And yeah, it's got some really good tracks on here. You know, it's classic 80s pop in a way. The title track, Out of the Blue, Only My Dreams, that was a pretty big hit, a good pop song. Foolish Beat, which I mentioned earlier, which is a really nice song. It's still pop, but it's slower than a lot of our stuff. We also have, let's see, oh, Shake Your Love as well. Shake Your Love was, at least in the UK, probably her best known hit. I want to say it got to number 7 in the charts. That was in 1988, actually, so a year after the album came out. And yeah, it's a good pop song. It's, you know, and I think she wrote that as well. So yeah, Debbie Gibson, Out of the Blue. You know, I wouldn't kind of recommend you go and rush out and buy it. I wouldn't panic buy it or anything, but it's decent. It really is. It's if you can find it on the cheap, then why not? Okay, the next one we're going to look at is Paula Abdul, or Abdul, Forever Your Girl. The pronunciation of her last name depends on where you're from. In the UK, you would say Abdul, but in the US, it would be Abdul, Paula Abdul. We're going to go with Abdul, since I am in the US now, and it is a US album. So this particular one is, it's still in shrink. It still has the hype sticker on it. It still has the original price, I guess, for back in the day of $10. This is a really excellent album. I mean, Paula Abdul, particularly early on in her career, the first few years, she put out some really great stuff. I'm not sure if she wrote or co-wrote any of these. I will take a look at that in just a second. I'm sure that she choreographed a lot of the videos. I mean, that was her thing, right? She was a dancer. She did a lot of choreography. She choreographed a lot of big acts back in the day. She really did. But this has several of her biggest hits on it. Here's the back. Let's see. The Way That You Love Me, I think, was released as a single. Opposites Attract, which I used to love when I was a kid. I was 10 years old when that was released in the UK as a single. I just thought it was amazing, you know, with this whole cat thing going on. It was featuring like the Wild Bunch or something, and it was like this cartoon cat that she did a duet with. I mean, it was, you look back on it and it's pretty bad, but you know, for a 10-year-old kid, it was pretty cool. So yeah, that was a big hit. That, I want to say, that got to around number 3 in the UK charts. We also have Forever Your Girl, another big hit for her, and then the big hit, Straight Up. I mean, that was a worldwide smash hit. Again, huge hit in the UK. It was easily a top 5. I think it even got to number 2 or 3 in the UK in the in early 1989. It also has Cold Hearted on here as well, which I always thought was called Cold Hearted Snake, but I guess it's just Cold Hearted. Let's have a look at the record. The record is on the Virgin label right here, in pretty nice condition. I'm just going to check if Paula Abdul actually wrote these. No, L.A. Reid wrote some of this stuff. Glenn Ballard, who I'm assuming that's the same Glenn Ballard who later worked with Alanis Morissette on the Jagged Little Pill album. Actually doesn't look like Paula Abdul wrote or co-wrote any of these. Oh, no, the last track on the album, One or the Other. I think that might be the only one. That's a little bit surprising, just given how musically inclined she always seems to be. I'm a little surprised she didn't write more, but maybe she did later on. I'm not sure, but yeah, this I think I got. This was at a record store. I think it was around $10, which is probably, I don't know, that's the going rate for it. But again, it's still got the Shrink and the Hype sticker on it, so I expect to pay a little bit more. But yeah, if you can find this album, it's really good. I mean, it's worth it just for Straight Up, and the fact that you get several other hits on it too. Yeah, you really can't go wrong. So that's it for this this installment of the 2 albums from the 80s, Debbie Gibson and Paula Abdul. Next time, who knows? Honestly, I just kind of picked these out at random, except for Debbie Gibson this time. Like I said, this was a little vinyl victim response video. But yeah, until next time, guys, thank you as always for watching, and see you soon. Bye-bye.